Next up, we have to talk about the Excel type. And by Excel type, I'm talking about the latest version. So it's .xlsx. All right. This data type, pandas can support very readily, and it's really nice because the latest Excel version that you install, you definitely can read from and write to the .xlsx. What I'm saying is, if you created an Excel spreadsheet stored as .xlsx, that means the proper kind with all the fanciful coloring and all that, pandas can read back in. However, it reads in as value only. All right, so you're going to lose all the conditional formatting, the formulas, the styles, the bold prints, and whatever it is. But of course, we are doing data analytics, so long as we can read back in the data, that's good enough. At least it's a very good start. All right, we can interchange our formula with Excel, at least to that extent. All right, so how do we go about it? By now, I hope you can guess that if we have a data frame and we want to write to Excel file, just say to Excel and supply a file name that has an extension of .xlsx. If you want to read back in an Excel file with an extension .xlsx, whether it was previously generated by pandas to Excel, or it was actually saved as by Microsoft Excel, it's fine. Pandas pd.read underscore Excel can read in the .xlsx file. So it's very, very powerful in that sense. So let's use back the previous code. We generated this data, all right, membership data, and we write it just a one-liner. It's two-liner because I want to sort of bring out the file name and we can then change it easily. But it's actually a one-liner, right? That data frame dot to Excel file name, and as usual, index is false. Don't write out the index. That's it. Now try to open it using your Microsoft Excel and see that it's actually interchanging correctly. It's pandas bold emboldened the titles and then having some sort of border around it, which is nice, right? It doesn't have to, but it's doing that. And then we can sort of a save as using Excel to create a new copy, df out 2.xlsx, and modify a little bit, add in a new row, Nico here, all right, and save into that using Excel. Then we quit Excel and try to read back in the newly created Excel file. And yes, we can see the hand typed in new row here. Now, can you imagine what this means? It means that, for example, if you're working in a central office and you have 30 branches out there, and these 30 branches, they're going to submit to the headquarters 30 files. 30 files, right? Because your business is big. So every day they will submit 30 files consisting of daily transactions, maybe 50 rows, 100 rows. Okay. Your job is to consolidate all these 30 Excel files into a single Excel file. Because obviously headquarters needs to know the daily performance, right? How do you do it? Now, in the past, you might have to force yourself to learn the macro and whatnot, very clumsy ways, and it's very leaky because sometimes it will break. Here now, what you can do is you can just read in 30 data frames from 30 different Excel files, right? And we learned that we can use, in this case, concat. We can use concat, merge, or join, but in this case, we use concat to combine them into one big data frame and then perform a dot mean or dot max dot min dot standard deviation and so on. And it's as simple as that. That's it. It's very simple. Just in case you're thinking, wow, does that mean I have to copy and paste 30 lines? Even if you have to do that, it's already very simple, right? Than to program in Visual Basic all the macros and stuff. But you don't have to because you can just do a for loop over 30 to read back in. So it's very, very compact, very, very powerful. Moving on, the last and very interesting data type, no, sorry, file type that we want to discuss here is HTML, web page. Why is it interesting? Now, as you know, a lot of information is on the web. Sometimes the data, the whole table is shown on the web, a bit like this, right? Maybe not as boring as this, as dull as this, maybe in colorful form and with all the styling and coloring and font, uh, stylish fonts. Um, what if you see the table of data there and you like to parse it? That means you really want to analyze it. Now, the usual way is to screen scrape it, copy and paste to a text file, and then read in as a text file. And it's clumsy because it's not very time consuming, but it's really not something that you enjoy, right? You have to save as, find a temp file, and all that. And it'd be nice if we can read it directly. So pandas can do that. So how it does it is very simple. Do HTML and read HTML, right? Read underscore HTML. So we expect this symmetry there. And yes, it is offered as such. So we created this three-member data frame again. And to write it out, just one liner, df to HTML. And when you look at your file explorer, you will see df-out.html. Open up using any browser you like, Firefox, Chrome, and it's totally compatible. You will see this in your browser. Now, imagine you are going to extract the name and the age, all right, and put it on the web page. Or maybe it's not that, it's who can drive, all right, so that people can look up those who can drive and ask them to do something. So name and drives, can you drive or not, right? So these two columns you can extract and post it out as a HTML file. That's it, finish. You don't have to save as temporarily as a text file, open up other applications, MS Word, whatnot, then save as again as HTML, right? So it cuts through all these steps directly to HTML. Now, just out of curiosity, we open up the view source in Firefox to see what's going on. And indeed, it is just HTML tags, right? So it creates the header column, then one row per row in our data frame. So the Chris goes in here, every column has a value. Then the Seth goes in here, and the Amin goes in here, right? 3 rows. Reading back in is the same, with a slight twist. First of all, we manually open up the df out tool, which is a copy from df out as usual. Then we hand edited it. All right. So what we did was to remove Seth's entry. For me, it's a good example because then it cuts short the screen space and we can see what's going on here. So I manually using text editor or any of your favorite HTML editor, you can manually cut away one chunk of TR, the one containing Seth, and then store it back in, save as dfout2.html. Now let's read it back in. So we'll use pd.read underscore HTML, the file name, dfout2.html, not surprising. What is rather different is that we no longer assign to a variable called df. Instead, I call it list of dfs, list df, because pd.read underscore HTML is expecting 1, 2, or more tables. So potentially in a web page, we can have table, right? So it's not uncommon, a lot of tables. And some of them are just, how do we call it, format holder, so as to make the page look well formatted. So that is not the data table we are reading from. But nevertheless, HTML, read HTML will read in all tables and let us choose. So you need to be a bit familiar with the layout of your table. And that comes because HTML is very flexible, right? So no choice. So here in our example, we extract the first table because we know our table, our HTML page is really just data. It's got no human readable parts to it. And then we print it out and we see that, yeah, it is actually having one row cut off, right? The Seth is gone. But otherwise, it's just like any other data frame that we have encountered. Okay, so here's the note here. The read underscore HTML function returns not a data frame, but a list of one or more data frames. And we can always extract from the list. Okay, good. So with that, I think we have come to the end of our discussion about the permanent storage functions and features of pandas. In the next video segment, I'm going to really work this out with real Spider, real Python, and creating and reading from real files. So see you in the next video segment, and we'll really have fun there. All right.